there's one final layer to this that I think is very interesting regarding the Charlie Kirk story, and Erika's going to discuss, or excuse me, Candace is going to discuss it regarding Erika right now.
Okay, something that I want to mention to you that I had been quietly working on to confirm the date for. I'm just going to throw this in here on that same topic. I had mentioned to you guys a while ago that on June 19th, Erika purged her Instagram of a lot of pictures, 126 posts she deleted. And I had wondered what drove that. Why would you delete 126 posts off of your Instagram page? And when I did my master timeline, I realized that this was the time when things were really heating up with Israel and Iran. I had mentioned that to you in the past, and I had wondered to myself if she had moved to do that after Charlie beat Bibi Netanyahu in a debate and all of his Zionist thugs at the White House, and he had convinced Trump that he should have just a limited military, limited military operation in Iran, which ended up being Operation Midnight Hammer. Well, I can now confirm that the date that Charlie went into the White House and went up like toe-to-toe with Bibi Netanyahu and his thugs who wanted more action in Iran, and he won, was on June 18th.
Now, there are many theories as to what ultimately caused Charlie to lose his life. I have always maintained that it's because of Israel, and that's who took him out, in conjunction with our State Department. But getting back to the reason why they decided to remove him, you could remove however which way you want, but why would they have done that? What was the motivation? What was the thing that Charlie ultimately did that caused him to lose his life? The suggestion is that he had certain people speaking at AmFest, but in reality, it's because Charlie decided to stick his neck out regarding not going to war in Iran, and this was last summer. And he had a lot of influence when it came to that. In fact, he specifically went to the White House to speak to Trump. It is a documented meeting in which he specifically said, we should not go to war in Iran. 2 months later, he's dead. Now, if you ask me, that's a hell of a lot of smoke. And of all the reasons, when you consider the precipice of what we're facing right now, why that would be such a big deal, could not think of a reason, bigger reason, as to why they would have to get rid of him. This is the reason. My opinion.
So to make that very clear, on June 18th, Charlie goes head-to-head with the Zionists and Bibi Netanyahu, who are trying to convince Trump that there needs to be more action in Iran, that America should get behind. Obviously, Charlie's in there showing like the base is going to hate this. Don't do that. That's a very bad idea. And Charlie wins. Tucker spoke about that. You can go find the clips of Tucker speaking about the fact that Charlie spoke up for America, really spoke up for Americans and said, don't do this. You know, you promised no wars. Keep this as a limited operation.
The one thing that I have pointed out time and again about Charlie Kirk and the impact that he had when it came to electing Trump the second time, considering the impact that he had on the youth vote, there's no question that he had a direct impact on him winning. And when Turning Point USA and all the issues that it's going through right now, and yes, there's no question that it is a corrupt organization, money laundering. It's a conduit directly to Christian Zionism and the State of Israel. It's an organization that got taken over by pro-Israel donors. We know all of that. It's all connected. But in the end, if there was a breaking point, getting in the way of the war machine when it comes to a war with Iran that Israel has had their trigger fingers on. If you go back and watch the video of Milikowski, when he was talking to the at the congressional hearing about whether or not we go to war in Iraq back in 2002. He did want us to go to war in Iraq on behalf of Israel, but he said it pales in comparison to needing to go to war with Iran. So this is a multi-decade effort to get to where they are now. And if anyone were to get in their way, I mean, you see how gleefully they kill people, like shooting children at aid sites with food in the desert. Would they really hesitate to sacrifice somebody like Charlie Kirk? I don't think so. Come on, war with Iran. It's what we've been working for forever. Can't get in our way now. Let's finish it up.
That's June 18th. The very next day on June 19th, Erika purges her Instagram. She deletes 126 posts. I had wondered if that was the way it went, that Charlie pissed off Bibi and then Erika purged her Instagram. I don't know what to make of that, but I wanted to give you guys that data point, which is from our master timeline. Okay, switching gears here.
One really has to ask themselves, it's one thing if you delete a few posts from social media. You delete 126 posts that have been verified? I mean, listen, I think most people have come to the conclusion that Erika Kirk is a honeypot, and that's always been her role. But what were the files that were deleted from Instagram? Who were the photos with? What was being discussed? I think that's something we all would like to know. And that is another layer to the story. What role did that have? Now, again, as I've said before, I'm not here to tout Charlie Kirk. Respected his game. Didn't respect his message because it's clearly different than one that I would be espousing. Nevertheless, he did a hell of a job. But he was a political pawn, a very important pawn. In fact, he was probably more than a pawn. He was more like a knight or a bishop. He had that level of impact. He sat at the round table. But he got out of line. And now we're going to see just how far this goes. Now we're really going to see what the Zionist state has in store for us, because shit's getting real. And I mean very real. So if Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens can momentarily put differences aside so that we as Americans can coincide on a similar message, then here's hoping we can make that change. Because once the bombs are going off, there's really no coming back. Man, anything to keep this Epstein file suppressed. Am I right? Great message from Candace, great message from Nick. Let's all work together. I would say that there probably is a lot to that story, Fort Huachuca. And yeah, sometimes you just don't know. But that's why we have the channel that we have and why we tell the stories that we tell. We understand. Listen, do I know for sure that we are going to continue to put ourselves in harm's way now that Anthony Aguilar has been on the show this evening? And that the State Department is clearly going to see this? And Mike Huckabee's probably going to know about it? Yeah, I understand that that's a risk. But I can't live with myself. We can't live with ourselves without doing all that we can to try to help our country. Because we are on the cusp of an international catastrophe that I don't think people are truly wrapping their heads around. It's so much worse than you could even possibly begin to imagine. So if in any way we can have any type of a positive impact on creating momentum away from what the state of Israel is trying to have us get involved in, then that's what we're here to do. That's our job.